The power of love is a curious thing. With a woman weep, make another man sing. Take it back one good, one right. The power of love will keep you all night.
You're so... let's see. What are we thinking of? We're talking about your third guitar, right?
Yes.
So your first guitar was your Squier Mini Strat.
Yep.
Which we got when you were like 8 years old. I think it was
8, 9 maybe.
And then...
Somewhere around there. I didn't play it for like a year or so.
No, you tried Rocksmith with it.
Yeah.
That was how you did it. One of my friends loaned us an Xbox or a PlayStation or an Xbox. I don't remember what it was. And from there, you tried playing it, but you couldn't really figure it out. Mm-hmm. And then...
I got uninterested.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for you to learn by yourself. And then we went and gave you that one that was 2021, January 2021, January 20th of 2021, right? January 20th, yeah. That was when you had your first guitar lesson here at the house, and you used your Mini Strat finally. And that was part of it. I was like, either you're gonna use this thing or I'm gonna sell it. And I looked it up, I paid $60 for that. So I double checked on it. So $60 for the Mini Strat. Moved on from that. And I think with taxes, the Tele, which was your first real guitar, quote unquote, the Squier Telecaster, the Classic Vibes 50 that we've got. That one was $500 and some with taxes because I got it through Sweetwater. And from there, the reality of it being that I just really wanted guitars. I never played guitar, but I wanted to play guitar. So that kind of led the gear acquisition syndrome because you don't really have like a desire to
I think the only thing that I really pushed for was an actual acoustic guitar that I liked and wanted to play.
Yeah, you did have the acoustic drive, which I think that's kind of what most girls end up doing, right? They kind of end up like what you've seen.
I love my electrics, and I still love my electrics. I love electric more than acoustic.
Right.
But I wanted an actual acoustic that I would enjoy playing instead of playing on something like a big Dreadnought that I didn't really like playing.
Well, definitely not to say that girls have to play. I wanted a girl to play
electric.
An electric. I wanted you to be
because
cool
I see most girls playing acoustic, which is not bad. It's just I want more people to play electrics.
Yeah, and they kind of. I think girls kind of gravitate to the I think most guitar players do to some degree, though. I say that, and then I'm thinking about more. I guess for a point of entry, it's like to get an electric guitar. You need an electric guitar.
Right.
You need the cable that goes from the guitar to the amp. You need the amp. And just when you hear that alone, the average person is going to go, that's a lot.
Because just for acoustic, you just need the guitar. Unless you get an acoustic with a preamp, then you have the preamp situation. But you can still play acoustic with the preamp.
Exactly. Which the funny thing being, when we got your Mini Strat and we first started you off, you didn't have an amp. There was no reason for it. You didn't play the guitar. And when you did, you were just doing the bling, bling, bling. And it was actually probably better because you would have heard the sound of the amp. You wouldn't have been pleased with what you were doing, I think. So my recommendation, if somebody was like, I'm going to get my kid into playing guitar, what kind of guitar should I get? And I'm like, well, get something that's appropriate for them and appropriate for your budget. But definitely, one thing that I would have, if I had it to do over, one thing that I would do differently is I would take that Mini Strat to somebody who knew how to, to a tech. For us, it would have been Woody's Guitar or something like that. I would take the Mini Strat to a local shop or a guy who just worked on your stuff, Jake, with Jake's Guitars. He's great. And I would say, hey, I need this Mini Strat to play really well. And then they would go through and make sure the frets are good, make sure everything's cleaned up, and especially if you buy it used, and they would adjust the string height for you, bring that scale in so that you could press down a little easier.
Right. Because the action on that Mini Strat is so high.
Still, yeah. It's looking lower.
It doesn't feel as bad now, but I remember playing with it, and then I would borrow my teacher's guitar, and I would feel the difference. I was like, I need my.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy different. Well, when you played on Sejan's guitar for the first time, it was just crazy. I was listening to you, and I'm like, wow, you can actually play the guitar. Of course, we're a year in by then, but it was 6 months to a year, something like that. So you started off with the Mini Strat. You moved on to the Telecaster, which we gave you for your 14th birthday, and then. I was planning for Christmas. That's what I was doing. And the funny thing, when I got your Telecaster, when I bought that from Sweetwater, and it came to the house, I want to say in March. I was trying to think about it before. It got here in like March, and I put it away in the closet, and I kept it hidden away, and I sat around just like, just want to give it to her. But I held out until your birthday in September. Fast forward, I'm sitting there like, oh, we need another guitar. And one of the things that you said about the Telecaster was it was kind of heavy.
It is.
And you were a little smaller at the time. Almost 3/4 of an inch, we discovered. So I was looking around and I thought, semi-hollow. It's different. And plus a Tele, it's got single pickups. And I was looking for something with like humbuckers or something just different. So we decided to go with, and when I say we, that's the other thing I was thinking about today. Like I've chose all your guitars for the most part. Or I've led
You've led me in the right direction.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've led you in a direction, and it's turned out to be right for the most part. So I was looking around, and I didn't know what Paul Reed Smith was, but I had seen the brand name before a couple times, and I started looking, and I was like, ooh, Paul Reed Smith. And then I discovered the SE models and the price, and I forget the price of this one, but I want to say this was $900 or so. It pushed it up around $1,000 when you're looking at taxes and stuff, and then and it came with a gig bag, which I thought was cool. And I love the Paul Reed Smith gig bags. I think they're cool. It's got that little hanger thing in it, which they say it's not suggested to like leave your guitar and hang it, but it's great for like hanging the gig bag
without the guitar in it.
Right, someplace just to store it. Which becomes a thing over time. We're already starting to discover like gig bags and hard cases. Like, what do you do with them? You got to store them in all these places. So yeah, it was almost $1,000 for the PRS, and it was cool because it was semi-hollow, so it was a little lighter, and it had humbuckers in it. And then the PRS. So yeah, this was cool. It was blue. You love blue.
I love blue.
I was looking, and Guitar Center had it, which, it's not that I'm for or against any particular company. I know people have their own feelings about it, but there's a Guitar Center that's about 6 minutes from our house.
Yeah.
So it's so easy. I mean, we've shot over to Guitar Center, grabbed strings, and come back to the house in 15 minutes before, total time. So it was convenient. But Guitar Center, when I was just looking for the models and everything, the blue honestly there's two things I was looking for at the time that I really understood. A color, I thought blue would be cool if I could find one, and I was looking for a semi-hollow. And I came across a couple of guitars, and the PRS Custom 22 SE was what I was drawn to. So they have the 24, but I didn't really know the difference between the 22 and the 24. And I understand now it's the number of frets. And I didn't really know I didn't know that the 24 frets would matter. So I don't know that it does for you.
For me, I think, I mean, if I had the 24 frets, I'd maybe mess around with it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I think the 22 and the 24, I think it's a 2-fret difference. I don't usually play down in the lower frets anyway.
Yeah.
I usually stick to around the middle or the top.
Has a rosewood fretboard on it,
which I've discovered I really like.
Yep. As time has gone by, we've discovered you like the rosewood. The tremolo, that was kind of a new thing. Yeah, it was on there, and I don't know if now in retrospect, I think I would go ahead and do the tremolo. There was a time where I was like, the tremolo was kind of a waste because it makes it a little harder. For some reason, it's hard to change the strings on this one.
Yeah. It's mostly the thinner strings though, right? Or is it all of them?
Yeah, well, it's the thinner ones, but it's trying to get
it's trying to get it in and out.
Because of the positioning of the saddles where they are in there.
What makes no sense is it was so much easier on the Stratocaster.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like I don't
think we've tried doing it since then.
The saddle positions on it are so far forward, I actually have to physically push the saddles down to get it to go in. But the tremolo stays floating, no problem. It's a floating tremolo. It's you've got a tone and a volume knob. You got a 3-way selector, right?
Yeah, it's got those split coils as well.
Yeah, you can split the coils. Is that right here? Yep, and the tone knob, right? This tone. So yeah, you got volume and tone. Split the coils. Dual humbuckers. It's got the little F hole there. It's relatively light. It's got a nice binding around it, or simulated binding. I don't know if it's real binding or simulated binding. It doesn't matter to us. It looks cool, right?
It looks cool.
I don't remember what it's made of. We'll say maple of some sort, probably, somewhere. I think it's got a maple top. And then it's got like a veneer to it. Obviously, it's not solid or anything like that, but it is lighter, definitively.
Compared to the Telecaster.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But I got that one for you when we looked it up. It was November the 12th. I wrote it down off the side so I have it. November the 12th, I got it for you, and I was like, okay, cool, Christmas. And then you got baptized on November the 20th, and I told your mom, I was like, hey, I think we should do something really special for her to kind of, for baptism and everything, so we could give her PRS, and she agreed. Yeah. I just was like, we could
just give it to her now.
Just give it to her now, So it is associated with November 20th when you were baptized, but I couldn't hold out anywhere near as long as I was able to hold out.
Held out 18 days.
Yeah, I didn't make
8 days.
I didn't make it very long. So I guess, could you play it a little bit? You
Yeah,
play a little bit?
Let me see if I can play. Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song.